Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have Science and Elementary Technology P6 set P6. The unit of today is Unit 9, Plants, the production. Before, you have studied parts of plants. Now here we have a structure of plants. This structure of plants shows us all parts of plants, which are roots. This is the root, the stem, the leaf, and then here we have the flower. This is a flower, a flower. This is what we are going to study now. The lesson of today is what we look flower, the flower. This flower, the flower is reproductive part of plants. Now here we have a structure of a flower. This is structure of a flower. Okay. This flower has many parts. As we have seen, we are going to study the parts. All of those are parts of the flower. Now, in this flower, we have the very important part. This part in the flower, it is inner part, which is inside in the flower. This part is very important, and we have this part again. This is the male reproductive part of a flower. Now we have this part is very brightly, very brightly. This part, you try to go outside of your home and you try to search the flower, and you take it and you see there is many parts of that flower, and you consider those parts to this flower. This flower has another part. This part is very important to the flower. This part has important for protecting this inner part of this flower. And then in the flower, we have the inside one. Inside on this part, we have many important things, important part here inside. And then in this flower, we have this part, which is very important. Very, very important, this part. To the plant and the flower. This flower has the important parts to the male reproductive part. This part. And then this flower has this part which is very important. Now we are going to see those parts. What is the meaning of those parts? What do we call this part? What do we call this part? What do we call this part? And what do we call this part, and all of this flower? This is a chart showing us all parts of a flower. We have seen this part. This part is called stigma. This part is stigma. And then this part is called anther. This part is called petals. This part, this one, is called filament. This part is called style. This part is called sepal. This part, this one is called ovar. This part is called flower stalk. And then the last part, which is very, very, very important, is ovules. This part inside. This part is again a female reproductive cell. This is female reproductive cell of a flower. And in this flower we have anthers, stands for male reproductive cells. Dear student, as you see this flower, it is very important. I like this. You just look to your flower you have. I think you have collected the flower which seems as like this. You just consider this flower to your flower. Our lesson exercise you will see on page Chopin's book. Chopin's book basics set. You will see on page 179 to 189. You just collect exercise. You will see there. There is more practice about these parts of a flower. Parts of a flower. For collection, for submission, you will just submit your work. Submit your work on my email. You should use my email. My email is Alika is equal 346 arrobas gmail.com, or you should use my mobile phone. My mobile phone telephone number 078501348. Dear students, have you read this lesson? Thank you for your kind attention for this lesson. Thank you, dear students.